Have you ever caught him looking at you when he thought you weren't noticing? That moment when your eyes meet and he quickly looks away? Or perhaps you've noticed how his voice changes. Today, I'm going to reveal the hidden signs that prove he's falling deeply in love with you, even when he hasn't admitted it to himself yet.
Have you ever caught him looking at you when he thought you weren't noticing? That moment when your eyes meet and he quickly looks away? Or perhaps you've noticed how his voice changes just slightly when he speaks only to you. You're left wondering, does he have feelings for me? Is this all in my head? The confusion of mixed signals can leave you questioning everything. What if I told you that the man who sometimes leaves you feeling uncertain is actually more in love with you than even he realizes? That his soul has recognized yours long before his conscious mind has caught up. Today, I'm going to reveal all these hidden signs. Carl Jung, one of history's most profound psychologists, discovered something remarkable about human emotion. He found that our deepest feelings often bypass our conscious mind entirely. Instead, they reveal themselves through subtle behaviors we can't control. This is especially true for men, who are often taught to compartmentalize their emotions. When a man's soul recognizes yours as its match, his body begins to betray what his lips haven't yet confessed. What most women mistake for indifference might actually be the opposite. A man processing deep emotional connection that he doesn't fully understand yet. The most authentic love doesn't announce itself with grand declarations or spectacular gestures. It transforms his entire world in ways neither of you fully recognize until now. And I'm going to show you exactly how to spot these transformations. Jung taught us that true love isn't something we choose logically. It appears as an inevitable force that disarms our barriers and connects us with the most essential part of our being. It's not about strategy or games. It's about soul recognition. The first unmistakable sign is in his attention. Not the obvious kind that seeks to impress, but something more authentic and profound. He begins to notice details about you that others would miss completely. The slight change in your mood even when you say, "I'm fine." The way you styled your hair differently even though you didn't mention it. How your voice sounds when you're truly excited about something. This heightened awareness doesn't come from superficial interest. It emerges from a connection that's born deep within him. His unconscious has recognized something in you that resonates with his core self, and now he can't help but be attuned to your subtle states. Have you noticed that he acts differently when he's with you compared to others? This is one of the most telling signs his soul has recognized yours, even if his mind hasn't caught up. Most men maintain a consistent persona with everyone. But when a man is truly touched by your presence, he allows himself to be different with you. He might appear more vulnerable, more open, or even more awkward. This isn't a weakness. It's his soul disarming itself in your presence. If you've noticed that he shares thoughts with you that he doesn't with others, if his silences with you feel comfortable rather than awkward, if he allows you glimpses of his true self that others don't see, this isn't coincidence. His unconscious has already decided that you're safe for his true self to emerge. Jung would say that what we present to the world is our persona, but what we show to those we truly love is much closer to our authentic self. When a man begins to drop his carefully constructed mask with you and only you, his heart has already made its choice. Jung maintained that what the soul loves, it protects. This wisdom reveals itself beautifully in how a man behaves when he's unconsciously in love. Have you noticed that he worries about your well-being in ways that seem almost instinctual? Maybe he makes sure you get home safely, or texts to confirm you arrived without incident. Perhaps he offers his jacket when it's cold without you having to ask, or makes sure you've eaten when you've been busy. This protective energy isn't about control or making himself important. It emerges from something much deeper. His soul has started to feel responsible for your well-being, as if his own balance depends on yours. When a man begins to care for you with this silent devotion, without asking for anything in return, without seeking recognition, it's because deep within his being, he has already made you part of his inner world. His unconscious mind has already committed to you. Even if his conscious thoughts haven't caught up, there are moments when a man doesn't need to say anything for his energy to reveal his feelings. It's as if his physical presence speaks a language all its own. Notice how his breathing changes when you're close. Is there a subtle shift in his posture when you enter a room? Does he unconsciously position himself to be near you in group settings? These are not calculated moves. They're his body responding to the magnetic pull he feels toward you. Pay close attention to his eyes. They truly are the windows to the soul, and they cannot lie. If you catch him looking at you when he thinks you're not noticing, if his gaze lingers just a moment longer than necessary, if there's a softness in his eyes reserved only for you, these are the wordless confessions of a heart already given. Also observe how he reacts when others mention you. If someone compliments you, does his expression change? If someone criticizes you, does he subtly come to your defense? His unconscious loyalty will activate even before he acknowledges his feelings. When a man is deeply touched by your presence, you become a permanent resident in his thoughts. This internal transformation may be invisible to you, but it's profoundly changing him. Has he mentioned remembering small details you shared in passing conversations weeks ago? Does he reference things that matter to you without prompting? This isn't just good listening. It's evidence that you've become important enough to occupy space in his mental landscape. Jung believed that we carry internal figures that shape our thoughts and behaviors. Without realizing it, you've become one of these significant figures in his inner world. You might notice he's adopting some of your perspectives, considering viewpoints he previously dismissed, or developing interests in things you care about. Perhaps most telling is how he includes you in his future thinking. Listen carefully when he talks about his plans. Does he subtly include you in his vision? Does he use we instead of I without realizing it? These linguistic slips reveal that his unconscious has already placed you in his future, even if he hasn't consciously planned it. One of the most profound signs of unconscious love is emotional synchronization. Jung understood that when two souls truly connect, they begin to resonate at similar frequencies. Have you noticed that he seems to sense your emotions even when you haven't expressed them? Does he intuitively know when something's wrong? Does his mood shift in response to yours? This emotional attunement isn't mind reading. It's evidence of a connection that transcends ordinary awareness. Also notice how he handles your emotional experiences. A man who hasn't formed a deep connection might become uncomfortable with emotional intensity. But when his soul has recognized yours, he creates space for your full emotional range. He doesn't try to fix everything or dismiss your feelings. Instead, he stays present with you through joy and sorrow alike. This capacity to resonate with your emotional state without being overwhelmed by it is one of the purest expressions of love, one that often precedes conscious awareness. Perhaps the most overlooked but significant sign is the quality of peace he experiences in your presence. In a world driven by excitement and intensity, we often undervalue tranquility as evidence of love. Yet Jung recognized that true soul connection brings not just passion, but profound peace. Notice if he seems to relax in a unique way when he's with you. Does the tension leave his body? Does he seem content in shared silence? Can he simply be with you without the need for constant activity or entertainment? When a man finds this kind of peace with you, it's because your presence allows his authentic self to emerge without fear of judgment. This isn't boredom or disinterest. It's the profound comfort that comes from soul recognition. And now, as promised, here's the most important truth I've been saving for you. The signs we've explored aren't just indicators of his feelings. They're glimpses into the most authentic form of love that exists. Jung taught us that the unconscious doesn't lie. When a man's soul recognizes yours, no amount of rational resistance can prevent what's meant to be. Your task isn't to convince him, but to recognize the depth of connection that's already forming beyond words. This is the love that transforms, the love that lasts, the love your soul has been waiting for. You don't need to chase, manipulate, or force his awareness. His unconscious already knows what his conscious mind is still discovering. Trust the wisdom of patience. The man who's truly meant for you will gradually bring his conscious choices into alignment with what his soul has already decided. I hope these insights have helped you see the deeper currents moving beneath the surface of your relationship. Remember, the most profound connections often begin in the unconscious before they are fully realized in our awareness. Trust your intuition, honor the authentic signs, and know that true love doesn't always announce itself with words. Sometimes it reveals itself in the quiet moments, the subtle shifts, and the unconscious behaviors that show his soul has recognized yours, even if his mind is still catching up. If you found this helpful, please subscribe and share with someone who might need this wisdom. Until next time, trust the process of love unfolding in its own perfect timing.